you with the opening statement whenever you're ready.
Okay. When you look back on last week, I do think there is a lot of fight in our players right now that we have developed, and very proud of our guys in that. If you think about from where we've come a year ago, where we came in the first game of the season, I think there's certainly a lot of fight that our team has, and it's helping us. It's helping us on the road. It's helping us respond to adversity at home. You know, those are things that we've got to continue to build upon. One thing that I do think we've got to continue to grow is going from, you know, a team that knows how to fight back and finding ways to put teams away. That's something that I thought we left opportunities as a football team on the field Saturday in Columbia, and those are things that we need to continue to work and get corrected. The exciting thing is I think our best football is still ahead of us as a team, as a defense. Certainly there were some opportunities that we left out on the field. You know, you look at the beginning of the game, you know, truly unacceptable start. Eyes not being in the right place, fundamentally not being locked in, and those are things that we've got to do a better job as players and coaches of preparing to play each snap like it's the most important play of the game from a fundamental standpoint and from an eye progression standpoint. You know, doing your job over and over again is really the mark of a great defense. And if you look at the landscape of college football right now, there's plenty of mistakes out there. There's plenty of eye violations and poor fundamentals and all those things that you got to be able to, you know, essentially do your job at a very high level, and that's something that I think we're taking steps towards, but certainly we left a number of things out there on the table. Third downs, we're certainly improving as a third down defense. I think some of our pass rush is improving in terms of finding ways to you know, to speed up the timing of the quarterback. I do think we were able to affect the quarterback last week, and certainly that helped, you know, in certain pass rushes and pressures. And then, you know, we had 5 opportunities to create takeaways. We only came away with 2 of them. So that's something that we've got to do a better job. You know, love that we're creating the opportunities, but something that we can be way more consistent in finding ways to take the ball off of people. So when you look at this week, obviously another great rival, great opponent in the SEC. You know, this is a football team that's operating at a pretty high level offensively right now. I think they're #1 scoring offense in the country. You know, that seems to be a theme of offenses that we've faced recently. And so, you know, I have tremendous respect for this coaching staff. Their players are very disciplined, physical football team, create a lot of explosives downfield. They're committed to it schematically, and you know, they have shown that they can respond to adversity. So we certainly have a great challenge ahead of us, and one that I think we're all excited to get started on our week of preparation.
Thank you. Just start with Nick here on the front right.
Yeah, Demai Jackson got the start, but Dijon Lee, I think, played about twice as many snaps as him. What kind of led to that decision of how those snaps are distributed?
Well, you know, just, you know, we talk about it all the time, right? A body of work, and you have to answer for the things that we put on tape, and we just felt like what Dijon was doing in the game, and as the game was going on, he was operating at a very efficient level and doing his job at an efficient level. And so, you know, what you do in practice and what you do in games ultimately determines, you know, the amount of playing time moving forward. And so Dijon's certainly in a very good trajectory right now.
Let's go to Chase on the far left.
When you're building a game plan and the other team has got a really good receiver who's 6'5", like Chris Brazil, is there any inclination to take your 6'4" corner who you were just talking about and shadow him, or does that take you out of your system when you do that?
Well, you can do some of those things for sure, but when they're going fast, it's, you know, it's hard sometimes to just say, hey, we're going to go trade and match corners over all the time. Those are things that, you know, we have done that in the past. You know, those are things that you can do. Some of it is based upon what type of coverage you're wanting to play. Some of it is situational based. It's not like we have 1-6-4 guy and we have all 5'9" DBs other than that, right? Sabian Brown is 6'2", you know what I mean? We've got guys that are long, athletic, so we do feel like we can challenge, their receiving core. But certainly, we'll look at whatever matchups we can have. So you stop by my office afterwards and any other ideas. Thanks.
Go to Alex on the back left.
Damani was obviously a guy you relied a lot on last season. What are you sort of wanting to see more from him, I guess, and what was the message coming out of the game when there is that disparity as far as snaps?
Yeah, building consistency in your game. Damani has done great things here and played good football, but doing it at a very consistent level, play in and play out, and doing your job is ultimately, what we're all measured by. And so, I've told you guys this before, right? You are accountable for what you put on tape. You have to answer for those things. Myself as a coordinator, schematically, the way our guys play, effort, finish, I'm accountable for those things. Our players doing their job, when we put you in position to go make plays, you got to do those things and at a consistent level, and that's something that, not just Damani, a number of our players have to continue to improve if we want to get to where we want to go at the end of the season.
Go to Colin on the left.
Kane, can you walk through the play call on that Dijon Lee, that final interception, just what his responsibility was and kind of what went down on the play?
Yeah, so that was it was a zone style coverage, a vision based coverage that we ran. We tried to mix man and zone against them. We tried to mix some pressure against them as well. Their quarterback did a decent job of getting the ball out. He converted, that 4th and 8 against us, converted another 3rd down against us early when we had brought some pressure. But we felt like if we can pressure him enough, we would speed up his tempo, and we showed a little bit of a look that we might be pressuring there, and then got to a position to where we affected him enough that he tried to force a ball that they had gone to that concept earlier in the game, and he was looking for it, didn't have it, came back to it again, and probably, if you're looking at that, he probably forced the throw a little bit, but our guys did a really nice job. Our underneath zone defenders are doing a really good job of taking what we call some of the line of sight line of the quarterback and forcing him to put air on the ball, and that's exactly what happened. We say all the time, tip balls or pick balls, right? Tips and overthrows, got to get those, right? So that's an overthrow, and we came up with it. Oh, my bad.
You mentioned in the open how you want to be able to put the game away better. That's something you want to work on. Tangibly, what does that look like in practice this week to work on that?
Well, we talked about this as a staff. I don't want to say, it's easy to sit there and look at the game and go, we got to start faster, we got to finish better, but it really comes down to playing each snap with great eye progression, great fundamentals, and just doing that over and over and over again. And for us as a defense, the areas where we have given up plays, it has been we are not doing our job at a high enough level. Certainly there's been some things schematically every now and then that, hey, all right, I got to have a better answer for that for sure. But most of our issues are things that we can correct and we can fix, and that's a good thing, And so from our perspective, when you look at how we need to finish, we need to do the same high-level job that we have shown throughout games more consistently, And that's going to be football from here to eternity, right? There's never been a perfect defensive game, but we can strive for that, and we can certainly do better than what we're doing right now. And so, again, I think our best football is ahead of us, and it is our job as a coaching staff and players to push ourselves to find a way to just, continually get better in SEC play.
I'll finish up back left for Travion.
Can you talk about what you've seen from a young player like Keon Keeley in practice that's led to some of those opportunities in the game? You see Saturday he stepped up and made the big sack. Can you just talk about what you've seen from him in practice?
I think I know our fans have been waiting on that, waiting on him to take steps, and excited for him. We've been continually working. I've talked about him in the offseason that he's taken steps in the right direction. Certainly he didn't have the role that probably he would want at the beginning of the season, but he's just continually taking steps in the right direction, and so he has a role for us now, and he took advantage of that role on Saturday. I thought he did a really nice job in some different pass rush scenarios. He's getting better and better at his down in and down out play, consistency, doing his job at the same high level, and that's, you're going to hear me talk about that probably the rest of the season, right? It's just about doing your job fundamentally at a high level over and over again, and he's doing that more consistently, and so he got rewarded with reps, and then he took advantage of those reps and produced for us on game day. So excited for him, as I am a number of guys within our defense.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys. Roll Tide.